Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Check Service Industry Podcast. I am Reyshan Parker, and if you have not yet, please go watch my television series Beyond the Check, Work Corona Edition, now streaming on Amazon Prime and Fox's Tubi TV. Tubi TV, it's free TV. Go hang out with a lot of cool chef owners. I have a fantastic guest today, though. She is a tarot card reader, the second one I've had on here. Maybe she'll give me a reading. We're going to find out. She helps people connect with the different spiritual energies that are present within their life. She tries to provide people with messages and guidance and healing directly from their spirit guides. I'm pretty sure she probably also likes to eat some food, and we're going to find all about what she's going to have for dinner tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Evy Wilkins. Hi, Evy.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. I like you're hanging out in Midsummer Night's Dream woods there behind you.
Yes, this is one of my favorite tapestries.
I like it.
Thank you.
So, how would you describe yourself? Like, what is it that you do in your own words?
I consider myself an eclectic spiritual practitioner, meaning I don't have a specific like practice. You know how some people are ordained or into different things. I'm not like that. I just kind of go with what feels right for me. I know that in several past lives, I've always done this work. So I kind of just connect with spirit and just connect to the things that I've already done in past lives and just go with that.
Oh, cool. Well, now I know definitely what we're going to talk about for a little while. So past lives, how do you try to remember them?
They usually come up through meditation, dreams. I do a lot of dream work. I've dreamt about being in different time areas. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say time zones.
Time periods?
Time periods, thank you. I usually have a lot of different dreams about different time periods. And in the beginning, I wasn't sure what that meant. And as I started studying, I started learning that was my spirit guides giving me little keys to different things they wanted me to look into and study. And every time I have dreamt about a different time period and gone and studied it, it's like messages started going off and I started studying different things. And it was like those things just started coming to me naturally.
Cool. So I see. I can't prove it, but yeah, just during meditations, like trying to asking to remember, right? Like you can't, you won't know unless you ask, right?
Right.
And so I have flashes of different moments, like traumatic moments in different lives, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And over time, like you'll remember different ones, but then how do you validate that? Like, what do we do to find, like, you know what I mean? Like, how do we find validation in that, or do we just have to, believe?
Well, part of it is to just believe. For me, the validation comes with spirit sends me messages in threes. Like, it's like I'll see something and it'll kind of click and I'm like, and then I'll see it again. And usually by the third time I know, okay, yeah, this is something that this is a validation for me. And it can be something as simple as I've had a past life, I believe, as a druid, and I've had dreams about doing rituals and in druid type attire and druid type style. And at first, when I was having these dreams, I wasn't sure. I thought it was just a dream. But Spirit confirmed it for me when I was walking one day with a friend, and we were just walking down the street, and I noticed there were some books in front of us just sitting in the middle of the sidewalk, like someone had just left them there. And as we got closer to the books, I walked up on it, and one of the books was about Stonehenge. So, everything is connected. There are no such things as accidents or coincidences or anything like that. So for me, that was a confirmation, like, yeah, this is important. So it'll be little things like that that'll happen.
The serendipity out in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I recently found myself just more aware of things and the causes for my current life. Like, and it's weird because, okay, so we did some DMT, right? And like,
like DMT.
broke through, came back, and ever since then, it's more like, why am I upset about little random things like leaving the house? Afraid that I'm not going to come back, right? Or and linking that to remembering being an Irishman at war and leaving my family and not coming back, right? Or just little kind of traumas that are in your life.
Right.
That you've had no reason to be upset or worried for really, but for some reason you are, right? And trying to discover potentially what happened in your past lives past, your full past, has a lot to do with that. Because this world was real rough for a real long time, you know? So a lot of terrible, terrible things happened to us throughout the history of men, right? And now it's seeming like this is a cakewalk, right? We get to live in this awesome, scientific, mostly evolving society, and we're not dying at 23, you know? So we have different ages where just like had these fears of, for some reason, like bad things are going to happen this year, right? But then it doesn't. And you wonder why. Why am I thinking that so much, right? So you have clients that...
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. It could also be, too, that you're picking up on other people's fears and other people's energies, because we do that, too. With our auras, we can pick up on other people's stuff, too, and have other people can have, like, irrational fears and things, and we can pick those up, and it causes us to be afraid of stuff, too.
But also just, like, the idea that it's totally fine as well. Like, no matter what happens here, it's just gonna, you know, waking up from another dream, right?
Right.
At the end of the day. So you have clients that you deal with that you do this work for, and do you have any crazy stories about? I don't know. Hit me.
I have clients. I do have stories. I don't share things unless I have my clients' permission to share things. So I do have a couple of stories that I can share that I have the client's permission. One story in particular was when I first started doing tarot card readings. And I still wasn't very sure of myself. And I was just kind of doing it just to, you know, become more sure. And I had a guy, and it was funny because he used to sell weed. So we would do an exchange where he would give me a bag of weed and I would do a reading for him. So there was one particular time where he had a girlfriend, and he was telling me, he's like, Evie, I think she's seeing someone else, and I don't know why I feel like this. Everything is fine. Everything is great. And I've even talked to the people around us about it, and everyone's telling me that I'm wrong, but I don't know. I feel like there's something going on. So I did a reading for him, and it came out in the reading that he was right, that there was something going on. And in the reading, it also said that he would find out soon, very soon. So it wasn't, I don't think it was even a whole 24 hours later. He called me and he was like, yo, you were right. He's like, I literally just accidentally walked in on her, like literally just walked in on her. So that was pretty interesting. And that was way back in the beginning when I had just started doing tarot card readings.
Do you do any life regression work with other people as well?
Not right now. No, that's not in my
wheelhouse.
Yeah, right now that's not in my wheel. Maybe in the future. There's a lot of things that I find interest in, but I would go to another person to get them to do it. It's not something that I focus on. My focus is mostly tarot card readings, mediumship, and dream work. That's where my talent lays.
Nice. I've had the last 2 nights. Well, I have a cold right now, and it's been like 4 days now. It's not COVID. Took the test. Just a cold.
That's good.
I've had two very vivid dreams where I've asked myself to wake up, where I've pulled I don't have the best teeth like throughout my life, and I've had 2 dreams where one I pulled one out right? And it was like, oh man, now I have to go get this fixed, and it was a long drive to even get home to where we were going, and I'm holding the tooth, and I'm just like, this, oh God, I wish I could just wake up right now. And when I said that, I did, right? And I woke up and I was like, oh, thank God. And then literally this morning, I had another one where I broke a filling and I was chewing on it. And then I was like, God damn it. Like, please be a dream. And then I woke up. And again, all good. But what is that? And it's also like, I'm afraid I'm breathing. I know I have the cold in the dream too, where it's like, oh, how am I going to sleep? I broke my tooth and I have this cold. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh, cool. I just have the cold.
So one of the things I like to do with dream work is I ask people first, what does missing teeth mean to you? What does that idea, the idea of your teeth coming out, what does that mean to you? The second thing is, for a lot of people, the dreams of losing your teeth can stem from subconscious issues about money. Like, are you dealing with issues where your money is tight, or you feel like you don't have enough money to go around? So those are the two questions I would ask you.
I mean, it's just a pain in the butt. Like, you can get them fixed, right? But it's just, it's a pain in the butt. I think it's, what does it mean to me is like just having to deal with something you don't want to have to deal with, you know, and it's, you know, and you hope it's a dream and you wake up and it was just a dream.
But there's definitely a significance because you had two dreams about your teeth coming out. So that's what I would take time to think about. Like, what, when you said it's a pain in the butt, so what things do you have going on right now that are a pain in the butt for you? Or what's going on that's causing like frustration? Or what is it that you don't want to deal with right now that you are like probably need to take a look at and deal with?
This awful cold that won't go away. And I mean, it's literally because in the dreams, I also still have the cold, right? And I'm mad about the cold. And then I'm also mad that my tooth just broke, right?
So it's an extra.
So when I wake up, I'm relieved that that the tooth is still there, but that I still have the damn cold. I don't know. But also just recently, and I've noticed with a lot of people, just random, just regular people have been way more vivid in their dreams and way more awake. People who didn't used to be, even as much so, or just remembering them in more detail without actually even trying, has been happening a lot around the world, I guess.
Yeah, there's there's a huge energetic shift taking place in the world right now, and the veil that separates us, well, not really separated, but the veil that separates us between our realm and other realms are thinning. So there's a lot more people who are spiritually awakening. There's a lot more people who are having their perspectives changed about things. There's, like you said, a lot more people who are basically waking up. So that's where the vivid dreams come in. That's where the repeating numbers come in. That's where a lot of people's psychic abilities, everyone is psychic. Everyone has the ability to connect with the spiritual realm because we're all souls. We're souls having a human experience. So we can connect easily with the other souls that are around us regularly. So with the veil and the energies and everything, a lot of people are having all these different types of experiences.
Yeah, and normally I can heal myself, but this cold just... But yeah, no, you're 100% right, and a lot of them, even if they don't realize that it's happening, there's a complete compassion flowing around the world of people just that desire to give a shit about other people, to help other people when you normally wouldn't, and as long as it works its way up into the greedy fucking elite, we might be all right. And it almost surprises people nowadays when you actually encounter it in real life, because for the most part, you don't encounter that selfish, greedy manipulation on a day-to-day basis amongst the people that you surround yourself with, I hope, anyway. And so when you do, it's such a turnoff to meet somebody that is, just so closed off and quote unquote asleep or just egotistical, right?
Right. I think a lot of it has to do with, social media and TV and just programming, television programming, period, shows us and presents us this thing. And it's like everybody sees this thing on a wide range, so everybody thinks that this thing is what it is. When no, day-to-day processes of people is not what they show us on TV. But because TV is and social media is so, everybody sees it, then a lot of people are programmed to believe this is what it is, this is how it is. When really on day-to-day, like you said, it's not.
No, I don't watch the news anymore. I completely gave up.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't watch TV. I barely watch
I used
TV.
I used to even make a show called Midnight Last Night where I would, like satire the news and I just couldn't do it anymore. I called it the river of shit. Like the news is literally the river of shit.
Very interesting.
And so I would just put my toe into the river of shit and give you my opinion on this bullshit, right? Mm-hmm. But at a certain point, it's like, I don't even care. Like, y'all do whatever fear mongering you want to do out there and blah, 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 blah. And your friends will come up and, hey, did you hear about it? No, I didn't. How's Ukraine going? It'll be over eventually. It's, it's the smallest war we've had in a very, very long time. Like at this point, that is all we really have going on in the world. It's like one little major war that we're doing pretty good. Because before that, it was awful.
Yeah.
I mean, 15 years ago, we were still Iraq and Afghanistan. Fucking.
Right.
We had World War II. I mean, Europe fighting for centuries, right? And now we got one little baby one going on. We're doing pretty good.
There's a lot actually going on, I think, in Mexico right now. The drug cartels have taken over the airports, and some people can't leave, and it's a whole lot going on in Mexico right now.
Gee.
Yeah.
Say, I haven't watched the news. I don't know.
Well, I don't watch the news per se, because the news, I feel like, lowers your vibration, because the way that they do news is to present a certain thing. However, on social media, I do see different things going on, but that's coming from the ground, from the people. So there's a lot going on in Mexico. There's also, I may be wrong, but I think it's Iran. There's some stuff going on in Iran also, where
we have a good bit of revolutions.
Yeah, there's a lot going
and protests and good things. Yeah. I mean, it's conflict, but it's positive conflict, right?
Yeah, I agree.
The China demonstrations in Iran. And I don't know about the cartels in Mexico, but that might just be a money grab. I'm not sure. But I mean, Mexico itself is, run by Coca-Cola to begin with. So maybe they're just trying to take their country back. I don't know. Frito-Lay, really. Frito-Lay pretty much owns all of Mexico.
You said Frito-Lay?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you go to Mexico, you will find, because you couldn't, the water's not that great, so everyone drank Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola made a huge push into Mexico, right? And you think Mexican Coke, which is better because it's made of real sugar. But you go into a gas station, all the snacks, all the sodas, everything is basically a Frito-Lay Mexican brand. And yeah, pretty much almost everything in Mexico, Frito-Lay there's not really a whole lot of competitors.
Oh, I did not know that. Yeah. Mexico is, I haven't been there yet, but it's on my list of places that I want to visit.
My dad lived in Mazunte, which is at Point Comita, which is the furthest southern tip of Mexico, Point of the Comets. Little nowhere Mexican town, but even there, you made your way up to the gas station to the highway, and yeah, it was just all fake Oreos and Fanta.
Interesting.
That was part of the obesity problem in Mexico too, was when Coca-Cola came in and just started flooding the market with their crap, that Mexican diets really went down the hill. Yeah. Anyway, we worked our way into food. What's your diet like?
I try to eat healthy. I try.
Me too. I try.
But
Vape isn't helping my cold.
I enjoy I like Italian food. I like pasta, stuff like that.
Who doesn't?
I'd say my favorite Italian dish would be baked ziti. Baked ziti.
Do you make a baked ziti?
No, my cousin is a chef, so I just go and eat her food.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
She own a restaurant?
No,
She works in a restaurant?
Not yet. She's working on it.
One day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you were the psychic. She was the chef.
Exactly.
So did you ever just guess what she was going to make for dinner that night?
Not often. No, I just let her do her thing.
Nice. What are you having for dinner tonight? Do you know?
I have no idea actually, because I have a lot of things I have to do. So the evening is kind of going to be difficult, but it'll probably be one of those nights where I'm at her house having dinner.
Well, that's nice.
Whenever she decides to cook. Yeah, I'm spoiled when it comes to the dinners. Yeah, I just run to her house and eat with her.
Well, at least you get quality family time at the same time.
Yes.
I'm the cook, but last night I made my wife cook because I don't feel good. So she made me hamburger steak.
Oh, that sounds good.
And it wasn't too bad. She did pretty good. Excuse me. That was the second thing she's ever made me. The other one was spaghetti.
She's got a man that cooks. That's good. She's lucky.
Every meal. Unless we're eating out, of course. How do you feel about kale?
Kale? It's fine. I like asparagus and broccoli.
I like asparagus and broccoli. I sneak kale into everything because I kale about people. So, and it's so cheap. Like it's literally like the cheapest superfood on the planet. Like it costs $1 for like a bundle of kale, right? And it's super filling, super good for you. I'm just gonna push kale for a minute. Everyone eat kale because you kale about yourself and you kale about others.
I'm definitely gonna have to go try some kale now. Yes.
Oh, fun. Tell me a little bit more about like your business. What's the day-to-day like for you?
Well, right now I'm working on building more clientele. I've been doing this for a while, but as far as the business part and really pushing it, I've really just started maybe about 2 years ago. So I do what's called pop-ups. I'll go and set up usually someone will rent a space and have a bunch of different small business owners come in, and we set up our tables and we just, sell our stuff. I've been pushing my social media pages to try and build more clientele. So I'm basically at the beginning stages of just trying to build more clientele and just get out here and get in front of people and tell them what I do and show them what I can do.
You want to explain the name? Piscean Moon Divination.
He said Piscean. It's Piscean Moon Divination.
Piscean Moon Divination.
So in my birth chart, my moon is in Pisces. And most people who have their moons in Pisces tend to have psychic traits about them. And then depending on how the rest of their chart is set up, we'll decide like if they are actually, more psychic like I am. So that's where the name came from, Piscean Moon Divination. And divination is basically the art of going to spirit or seeking guidance or information from higher realms or higher beings. So Piscean Moon Divination.
Cool. I like it.
Thank you.
Let's talk Tarot decks. Do you have a preferred tarot deck? Do you use the classic one? Do you have any fun, crazy ones you've discovered that you love?
I have several tarot decks. Most tarot card readers, once you buy one tarot deck, then you just continue to buy tarot decks. But right now, my favorite tarot deck is the Gilded Tarot by Barbara Moore. And it's similar to the Rider-Waite, but it's different. I don't know if you can see. It's got very, like, my fingers.
It's very pastel and bright colors and beautiful pictures. Yes.
Yeah.
I like the artwork.
Right now, this is my favorite deck, my preferred deck to do my readings with. I do have another deck that I enjoy using. I don't think I have it at the table right now, but it's called the Everyday Tarot, and that's by Poppy Palin. And I like that tarot deck because it's very multicultural. You see, in most tarot decks, you see just regular white people, but this particular deck, you see not only different nationalities of people, different races of people, but it's also set in everyday terms. Like you have the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups represents cups and water. So the image on that deck, on that card, is a bunch of different little girls at a swim meet with a first place trophy, and it's shaped like a cup. And in that particular card, there's a very dark-skinned black girl, there's an Asian girl, there's an Indian girl, and so the whole deck is built like that. You have several different races of people in each of the cards, so I really enjoy using that deck also.
Well, that's cool. My mom has it's the Animal Tarot. You ever seen this one?
There's so many different ones. I probably have.
Yeah, there's so many. She has a shit ton. Her favorite one is a kitchen tarot.
Oh, I've heard of that one. I like that.
So everything's just based on stuff inside a kitchen. Mm-hmm. But it's actually, it has great little metaphors, right? Like boiling water. And I can't, my brain isn't working that great right now. But it was the refrigerator somehow like is in there. I don't know, but it's a kitchen deck, and it's really it was really fun to look through. I haven't looked through it in a couple of years, but it was cool. You want to read me a card?
Sure.
Cool. However you want to do it, your simplest favorite way.
I can just I'll pull 3 cards and take a look at what the energy is around you right now.
All right, let's do that. I'm going to go with foggy and stuffy.
Let's see what Spirit wants to tell you.
Hello, Spirit. How are you today? What would you like to tell me? My dog's telling me that it wants to go for a walk.
Okay.
So he tells me that every morning.
So I've pulled 3 cards, and I also used the card at the bottom of the deck. The card at the bottom of the deck for me represents the overall energy. So the card at the bottom of the deck for you is the 8 of Cups. Now, the 8 of Cups is an energy of walking away from something that is no longer emotionally fulfilling. We also have the Temperance card. Temperance is a major arcana card, so this talks about on a major life scale. And temperance for me is an energy of balance, taking your time and balancing out what's important, what's not important, just having complete balance in your life. Then we have the 5 of Swords. And the 5 of Swords, energy of conflict. It could be mental conflict. It could be conflict with someone else, because it's swords. Swords, it's air energy. And so it represents communication. It represents just movement around. So we have the 7 of Cups as the final card. The 7 of Cups is an energy of having to make a choice about something. So you have all these cups in front of you, and each of the cups, the 7 cups, has something different in it. So it's about making a choice, looking at it, and deciding what are you going to pick and choose, and what's for you and what's not for you. So this looks like there's something going on where you have to decide that you're going to have to either walk away from it and I feel like you got to walk away from it and do something different. And you're trying to decide what's going to be the best choice and what's going to create the least amount of conflicts for you. How does that sound?
Spot on.
Thank you. I usually am.
Yep. Yep. So many options. What will we do?
So what I also like to do after the readings, I like to pull an oracle deck card. I like oracle decks. I think I like oracle decks because they, a lot of times people will listen to the reading and they might remember it, they might not. But with the oracle cards, that last message of wisdom, people always seem to hold on to that last little bit of wisdom. If they don't remember anything from the tarot reading, then they usually remember the oracle card. So this deck is my Animal Spirit Wisdom deck. I cannot remember the name of the author right now, but if you want me to tell you later, I can. So I want to pull a card.
I love the Animal Spirit deck.
Yes, animals teach us wonderful lessons when we're listening. All right. Oh, you have dragon, supernatural. You are the ancient wise sage. You can shapeshift at will. Mastery is your destiny. Rise with dignity.
Do what I can there, dragon.
So I feel like that, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Now, I was going to say that I feel like ties into whatever the situation is that came out in the cards just now for you, the tarot cards. You should remember this. So whenever it gets difficult to make that choice and that conflict is coming up, remember that you're a dragon.
And that I have the power of the universe in my pinky.
Yes.
We all do. We just forget it sometimes.
Yes, that is true.
So I like the idea of that. I mean, I feel like that dragon is spot on. And when I take walks, my meditation time is walking my dogs in the woods, right? And when I walk in the woods, I usually listen to like some sort of channeling. Or you ever heard of Cryon? The magnetic service.
No.
Lee Carroll is the channeler, right? But Cryon is the channeled.
Okay.
If you get bored, look up Lee Carroll. He's been around since the mid '80s, and he's been channeling Cryon since the mid '80s. And so you can go back. He has recordings that it doesn't go all the way back to the '80s, but I think to the early 2000s is when they started recording everything and keeping an archive of it. But I listen to that as I walk in the woods, and it's getting out of society, getting out of life, and going back and finding your center and yourself, and realizing that this is just a illusory, experience that we do have control over, as long as we remember that we do have that power. And it's easy to get sidetracked, right? Like, obviously shiny things are super cool in this world too, right? So,
yes.
But just remembering to trust your gut, you can go with your instincts and follow your dreams, right? Then everything does seem to work out okay. You got any words of advice, such as how to operate in this crazy, crazy world in which we live in?
Always be authentic. I feel like if you can always be your authentic self, then it'll help you with dealing with any type of situation. Because you got to deal with situations your way, not the way that everybody else says you should. You got to do
First, we have to find ourselves, though, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just me, so I'm not everybody else. But I know that I don't think I actually figured out who I really am until I was in my mid 30s. Like even going back to like high school, and when I was 15, I still knew what the universe was and what the hell was going on. But as me being like my true self to the world, right? The way I'm outwardly to the world, which is not the same as I am even when I'm home sick and grumpy. Right? Like I can still be that human being that's just, you know, and
Every
maybe not always so positive. But when I walk out the door, I don't know if I have to be now, but I choose to be. That's what I want to be, is that ball of light that walks into the room, right? Mm-hmm. Or just that fun, energetic hair. And I don't know if that, I'm pretty sure I always was. People always liked me a lot, but I wasn't aware that I was doing it on purpose until later, you know? Or
right.
did I even do it on purpose? I definitely do it on purpose now, but I don't know if that takes away from it, or it's some things we're not supposed to know. And have you ever been to that place where it's like, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. You're not supposed to know this information. And it's for a good reason that you don't know, right? Because when you do know, it's the reason we can't remember all of our lives when we were initially born. It's a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
Right? It's so much trauma that this is a protective layer to keep us able to deal with this world. Because if we fucking knew all that shit, like,
you'd go crazy.
What are we doing here? Why would I even bother coming back here after all of that? That's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But also, from that perspective, you're looking at the future too, and so you don't. Some things we're just not supposed to know, so that we can operate here. I think.
Yes, but, I agree.
And if you are going to know that,
you makes it more fun sometimes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Who knows? It's an adventure now. Anyway, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for my reading.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to do your reading.
Where can we go find you, and where can someone else go get in touch with you so they can get a reading themselves?
I am on TikTok as Piscean Moon Divination. I'm also on Instagram as Piscean Moon Divination. And you can, anyone can DM me. I also have an email, and my email is pmdivination2782@gmail.com.
Awesome. Everyone go check out Evie and get yourself a reading. She is a fantastic, lovely lady, and super insightful. I'm sure she can answer some questions you might have. Yes. Evie, again, thank you so very much for being here. I appreciate you. Keep up the good work, and I hope your business flourishes and you help many, many souls along their path.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, go watch my television show and go find Evie. Cheers.